Well, America Speaks, we are still on the U.S. elections. It is 3 a.m. in America. We're yet to know then if then Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, could be able to reverse what now a lot of analysts are saying is irreversible. Donald Trump has declared victory. Remember, he is going to be one after so many years to get this particular office as former President of the United States in 130 years. Quite historic, but I'm still here with an analyst, Abel Onchari-Oyeyo. And you had already started picking momentum with what's happening, and you also said it is quite shocking, though, to also see that, the Vice President Kamala Harris is not taking this home at this point in time. But also there is the relationship between the United States and Kenya. You do realize that there was quite something going on with the presidency of President Ruto and Joe Biden's administration, a number of policies and a number of bilateral talks. Yeah. But we know that Trump could be quite, different in as far as how he looks at migrants, etc., and crossing over borders. What do you think might be the impact of this win for Trump on our country?
Thank you so much. Kenya seems to have an advantage because of the location. And number one, we're not very close to the US, so we don't have an issue of Kenyans moving to the US borders without any kind of legality or papers and stuff like that. And Kenyans love Kenya. When they go to the US, they look for money, they come back here and they buy land in Kitengela and other places, and they're comfortable. So there's what we call the strategic significance of Kenya as far as American national interest is concerned. Anytime they roll out a red carpet for our leaders, it's not about Kenyans, it's about the Americans. The other day they invited the president, of course, and gave him a state visit. That is Ruto. Yes. It's something that has not been witnessed over a period of like 2 decades, I think 15 to 20 years. So most of us were excited, it's about Ruto, it's about Kenya. No, it's about the strategic role Kenya plays when it comes to Americans pursuing terrorists. They make most of their plans, strategic plans. They launch most of the attacks in Somalia and other places from our soil. So for us to be happy, for us to keep hosting them without complaints, they have to keep us excited. They have to make us look like we're actually benefiting when we are not. So I don't expect Trump, because he does not make decisions alone, to cancel any of the plans the US has with Kenya. What most likely is going to do is to limit the kind of attention that is being showered on our president.
Well, what do you mean, the kind of attention?
Yeah, Joe and Kamala made Ruto look like the megaphone of American interests within the continent. And I don't think Trump is going to like that, because, he's a showman, he likes all the attention, so he's going to, and he has this America first kind of policy. So he's going to actually give attention to what brings value to the Americans.
He actually calls it the U.S. golden age.
That is it. He has called it like that. Of course, I don't know what's going to happen, because we still have around 47 electoral college votes out there. I've seen some sites giving him 3 votes from Alaska, so it's at 270. Basically, he's become president-elect. Okay. But then anything can happen, which means if Kamala can collect the remaining 47 votes, she can still do what? Redeem this thing. But it's a stretch, right? So Kenya does not stand a chance of changing its relationship with the United States, regardless of who becomes president, because they intend to actually continue benefiting from us in their pursuit of their own national interest, national security issues and stuff like that. They'll continue using our Manda Bay, allocation for their programs. And they'll be giving us tokens as usual, using USAID and AGOA and stuff like that. But then again, you can expect all these freebies and goodies that were, flowing in to be limited, because Trump is going to focus on the US first, like he says. That's what happened when he was president for 4 years, between 2016 and 2020. And that changed, of course, when Joe came into office.
Now, a lot of people admire the industrialization in America, but of course then the presidency as well. And what we're looking at is a very tight rope. However, I want to bring in the concept that you have just said, Kamala Harris might have a chance based on the votes remaining. But this is not like-minded, to various analysts who are now speaking online, etc. We're looking at the 270, electoral base, but so far, it is pretty much looking as it is. And like the professor said, it is a done deal. And what is now causing the curiosity is what Trump had to go through with impeachment, the legal procedures surrounding his name. And here we go. He is shocking the entire globe to get back into the Oval Office just like that. Is it a challenge then to other democracies following what's happening in the United States today?
Not necessarily. You know, the United States is it's a very unique climate when it comes to politics. There are subtle factors that come into play when elections are held. What we see from outside is very different from what happens. Number one, there's what we call now, there's a universal principle of the love for the martyr, someone who appears to be being crucified. And the Democrats have always positioned themselves as the people who want to dilute the quintessential American character of the white, race. So there's a group of people who don't talk necessarily, but they don't like Democrats, and the way they welcome what? Outsiders. So those guys were not making a lot of noise out there and saying we are not going to support Kamala, but they went to the polls and actually made their voices heard. And most of those guys don't actually make noise. They don't talk, especially the younger white males who feel like they're being reduced to, they're actually becoming extinct. Apart from a few, noisy commentators, most of them were quiet. Then, of course, there's what we call a lack of commitment from the widening constituency of Democrats. Democrats have benefited from the Latino expansion. They've benefited from the Asian immigration to the United States.
All right.
They've benefited from the black expansion. But then they don't make sure these guys vote. Okay? So the white people, if you look at the analysis, especially white men, actually decided they are the most, when it comes to early voting, people voted before a Tuesday. You ask yourself, especially the black community, which has so much to lose in this kind of election, why did they sleep out the vote?
All right.
You'd expect them to actually vote like 5 days before this, or 6 days, or something like that. They didn't do that. So, micro factors. When you look at, for example, the United Kingdom, they had elections the other day for the conservative leader, and we were shocked. The lady won the thing with a very clean majority of around 10,000 votes. Yeah, yes. And so when you look at the way they elect their leaders, you can say they've made tremendous progress as far as race is concerned. It's all about competence.
All right.
The Americans don't have that. When you look at, you rightly mentioned what Trump has gone through. This is a man who has been convicted of serious crimes. 34 felon counts. Economic crimes, sexual assaults.
Yes.
Talk about the January 6th assault on the Capitol. All this. If it was a black man with all these baggage, he could not have found his way to the ballot. Trust me.
Is it?
It would not have happened.
All right.
It would not have happened. But you see, because he's a white man,
as we close, yes,
in the United States, he has found his way to the ballot and decided now to be what? President again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So then it's still a tight race at this point in time, and they say the media then will just give what is declared as victory. Trump has declared victory, but we're yet to see if Kamala Harris will concede, and the final results officially will be then announced as well, and we will give those updates. Thank you so much, Abel Onchari Oyeyo, analyst, for giving the analysis of the U.S. polls 2024. We hope to have you again soon.
Thank you so much.
All right, that is it for the America, of course, elections. But remember, America Decides still continues. And of course, we'll continue to update you at KTN News KE across all social media platforms. I am at Doris Anki on X. My name is Anki Doris. Enjoy sports coming up shortly. Good afternoon.